Welcome to the Divine Connection Podcast. I'm your host, Cristina Aroche, and together we are walking the path of discovering your true self and the alignment with your soul. Through these conversations, you will experience a deeper level of connection with yourself and the universe, and most importantly, you will trust in your spiritual journey ahead. Let's begin. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Divine Connection Podcast. I am excited that today we are doing another channeling episode, and we have Nicole who is joining us today. And in this episode, we are going to be discussing a lot around deepening your connection to the angels, to yourself, and pursuing your path ahead. So it's the unfolding of your spiritual awakening and how to continue to follow the path, follow the breadcrumbs that lead us into our truth and into our spiritual expansion. So I'm excited to have you joining me today. Let's begin. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode. I am so excited. We have a guest with us joining today. Her name is Nicole, and we are going to be doing a channeling session to bring in the guidance from the angels. So I'm really excited for this episode. Nicole, welcome. I'm so excited to have you here.
I'm excited to be here.
I cannot wait.
Thank you.
Yay! That's awesome. So to get started, how about you share a little bit about your, kind of where you're at right now in your journey, kind of the context behind, where you're at this point in your life and what you would like to receive guidance on, what questions you may have for the angels.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I think I always grew up like my mom. Growing up, I was always very spiritual. My mom, I think she had psychic abilities growing up as a child that things would happen and she'd know about. And as time went on, I think she almost like scared herself out of that. But it's always something that she had, like always had those gut feelings and everything like that. And like I said, I've always been spiritual. Angels to me, I've always believed in them. And it wasn't until probably about 2020 where I feel like I was actually going down a wrong path. And when COVID happened and the world shut down and everyone thought, okay, this is the worst thing that has happened to me, probably one of the few that could say it was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. It was the first time that I actually stopped. And then I went within. And what happened was I always used to see angel numbers. I had no idea what it meant. It was always 9/11, 9/11, 9/11. It sparked my interest. Then it would become 11/11, but nothing really innate came about it. And then one day, 2020, it was probably March or April 2020. So as soon as the pandemic happened and you had all this time to really go within your thoughts and everything like that, it just guided me to do a meditation. I've never meditated a day in my life. Don't even know if I was doing it right. And I was doing it to an 11/11, almost like gateway portal, because 11/11 kept on coming up for me time and time again. So it was almost like they were like nudging at me the entire time. And when I finally stopped and listened and I closed my eyes and I did a meditation. And when I opened, it was like orbs that I'd never seen around the entire room. Like you could just feel the energy and the love. It was like, wow. Like I realized like, they were finally like, they were finally got my attention and I knew what they wanted me to do. So in that time, like I said, with just having a little bit more time and not having to go to work, even though I was working from home, gave me the time to meditate and to do my practices and stepping my foot in. It's so overwhelming and like learning everything. And part of it's like doing it on your own. You can't just talk to people and have these kinds of conversations. So I felt very alone and I'm just doing my work. And I feel like as more and more time is going on, I'm understanding it more and more, like what you have to do in meditations or the chakras and everything like that. I can't really say I've had any really amazing experiences. Just that one time that was blew me away. I've tried to work on my third eye and I feel like I am on the cusp of like something big happening. But I just have to allow. And like I said, I guess I put in my notes too. I had a struggle with having children And this was probably back in 2019. And, you know, I gave it to God and everything like that. But I always kept on saying, like, God has something more for me. And I feel like this is it, because if I had kids right now, I would not have had my spiritual awakening. Like, so you realize, like, all these things that are happening for me are meant to happen and meant to unfold. And I have to give myself the grace and the patience to know that it's not going to happen overnight. I do have to continue to show up and do the work. But like I said, sometimes it becomes a little bit of a struggle because you try so hard and you want something to come around so bad or something to pop off. But, so that's why it was just amazing for you to email me and say, oh, and I was like, okay, maybe I'm going to hear that tidbit of like, okay, you need to be doing this more, or what it is. But I know I'm on the path. Like I said,
Yeah.
before then I was kind of,
Yes.
but I know this is the path I need to do. And it's just taking step by step and doing the work. And like I said, a lot of it's on my
Mhm.
own. So.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I just love this so much. And it's so exciting to hear, the unfolding of your path, especially like you said, from, that point in
Yeah.
2020 when things started to happen and you having that experience in meditation. It's amazing. I feel like that's like I remember myself having an experience like that where it was like you still remember it to this
Oh
day,
yeah.
and you're just like,
It's giving me the
I
chills
remember
right
how it felt.
now.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And it's like I feel like there's these pivotal moments that really support the transformation, and it's like you said, you are on the path and you are being led and guided. So, when it comes to the angels that are coming forward for you right now and the messages that they're bringing to you, first of all, we have Archangel Jophiel. She has, as soon as you started speaking and like we started to tune in, she came through and she's like very, very present here with
Oh,
you right now. So we're going to start with her and then we'll see other angels because I do see other angels coming forward, but we're going to take it one step at a time. So we'll start with Archangel Jophiel.
okay.
And I feel like one of the things that she is encouraging you, and one of the things that like how she's here to support you, is I feel this sense of like what I hear is her saying feminine power, like your divine feminine power and connecting to that. And then I also see there's a connection to channeling creative energy. So it feels like this like creative spark within you that is awakening, and I feel like that's part of what you like, what you talked about in terms of you feeling like the awakening happening and you're being guided on the path, and it feels like it's leading you into a creative expression for yourself, like bringing through creativity, bringing through that expression of your true essence. And the other part of it is what I hear is the feminine embodiment aspect of what that looks like for you. And so Archangel Jophiel is there to support you with that. Now, when it comes to actually, like moving through in that process and the continuing development of your spiritual connection, I feel Angel Celeste coming forward. And what she's showing me, I do see a lot of kind of like journaling, writing, like connection through writing. So is that something that you do? I know you talked about meditation. Is journaling and like that sort of connection, is that something that you do or not do
Yeah,
or
it's a practice. I
avoid? Some
try, and
people
then
avoid
I
it.
fall off on it, and I try and I fall off on it. It's not a constant
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah. I hear you. And it's so common for people to experience that. And what she's showing me is it's actually to she's talking about shifting the perspective around the journaling in the sense that less about, at least for now, it doesn't have to be about you journaling like this is how my day was or this
Yeah,
is how I'm
yeah,
feeling,
yeah.
even though that's a way that we can journal.
Right.
She's actually talking about it in the sense of a way for you to connect and communicate with the divine, because I feel like that's going to be a pathway for you where it's basically almost thinking of it as though you're writing a letter to them, like,
Yeah,
dear angels, like blah 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 blah, like this is what I want to say to you right now, or this is what I would like guidance on, or this is what I want to create and experience in my life. You know what I mean? And like writing to them in that way, because I feel like as you kind of connect with writing as though you're speaking to them, just to them, and writing to them, that you're going to start to receive messages in
yeah,
return. Do you know what I mean? Where you'll feel as though there's a stream of consciousness
yeah,
that you're like, oh, this sounds like it's an answer to what I'm saying.
yeah.
You know what I
I
mean?
totally, like I said, I think even when I journal, a lot of the time is about how I'm feeling or about my day. But like I said, what I need to do is really, and I guess I have a hard time, like, even when they say like manifest or put down your perfect day, I have a hard time doing that. But I get what you're saying because they need to know what I want. So to be able to do that is
Yes.
to, and like I said, then seeing, because I'm not really putting it out there. So
Yeah.
that's a good way for me to really
Yeah.
get into that routine of doing. But I like that. So yes, absolutely.
Yes, yes, it's a routine of doing, and the other thing that I'm hearing is that it also brings it into this sense for you where it's like you're doing it together. Like it's almost like feeling like you're in a
Yeah,
partnership with them. Do you know what I
yeah, I
mean?
like
Rather
that.
than it being like, okay, I'm trying to figure it out on my own and like maybe you guys can help me. It's more like we're okay, let's do this together kind of energy. You know what I mean? Like let's do it together. We're in this process together. So that's the first part that I feel for you, kind of like bringing that through you in a way where there's not pressure, because we don't want to put pressure on it, where so if there's days where you're like, I don't want to journal, don't do
Right.
it. You know
You're not
what I
going to get
mean?
anything out of it that way. It's forced. It has to be open and it has to be free and it's
Exactly.
got to be free flowing. So I
Yes.
got
Yes.
it.
Yes. You get what you know exactly what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah. Yeah. So that's the first part of this. So then the next thing that Angel Celeste, now she's the one who's here, that she's kind of like present here right now, what she's bringing forward is, it feels like guidance in terms of the direction of your path and your journey and kind of like who you are. So tell me a little bit about, is there anything that you have felt before in terms of you wanting to expand in terms of the work that you do, or the like how you live your life, your lifestyle, or anything like that? Has there been any sort of desire that has come through for you before where you have maybe thought of that, but then it was kind of like, I don't know if that's even possible for me. You know what I mean? Has anything like that showed up for you?
Yeah. I wish I could say that, but no, unfortunately not. Sometimes I try to think about, okay, what are the things that make me happy? And it's like, this
Mhm.
whole piece is what makes me like, yeah, somebody, it, like when I meditate and you feel like love, it's like, that's my happy, like, that's what I just enjoy it. I enjoy
Mm.
learning about spirituality. I enjoy all aspects of it.
Yeah.
So it's like, I just want to dive into and learn more and more and connect more and more. But like, this is like my happy place is like, this is what brings me pure enjoyment. I mean, one time I enjoyed cooking and that's still but that was my other passion. But I mean, if I had to pick it was like cooking and it's also this.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So, in terms of the exploration of your spirituality and like your journey and things like that, what do you feel like there's anything specific that has held you back or that has felt like a block in any way? Or does it feel like things are unfolding and, kind of unraveling smoothly, so to
I
speak?
truly feel like it's smooth. And I know when you go down these
Mhm.
paths, I know you hit these roadblocks or, um, past comes up or you're going to dark nights of the soul.
Yeah.
I just, I must have, I mean, my mom is an incredible, I'm actually a triplet. I'm one of three. My mom had three kids. She,
Oh
all
my god.
natural, and she prayed for us. So my mom was an amazing mom. And I like am so blessed that I felt like I had a wholesome childhood. So like, nothing is
Mm.
really coming up maybe in my past
Mhm.
or past lives. And I feel like for like, I know people struggle and for me, nothing has been, it's been just a smooth, slow ride, but I feel very fortunate because I
Yes.
know it can take you down. So
Yes.
like I said,
Yes. And
go ahead.
yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm saying a lot of it
Go
was when
ahead.
she had three kids at once. I feel like we weren't exposed to a whole lot because a lot of it was home because we never went out that much. I mean, she wasn't taking three kids to the stores or going out. So I feel like we were very much sheltered, which to now looking forward
Mhm.
sometimes is a blessing and sometimes not. Maybe I'm a little, maybe sheltered from or exposed to different things. But like I said, in part, I think it's actually was the best thing for us. And it's, like I said, I don't really have any hindrances that are holding me back, which I'm truly grateful for.
Yes, and that's incredible. And I feel like that's part of, in terms of your continued like growth and expansion, it's like truly like owning that, like, wow, like this, I'm so grateful for this. And I know that you
Yeah,
are,
yeah,
that like that gratitude and
I
appreciation,
know.
and also like, you know, not feeling like that has to be something, if other people are struggling, like feeling guilty or bad that you didn't have a struggle, like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean, like that kind of
yeah,
thing, where it's just you get to own that. And I feel like that's a huge part of, for you, like the continuous exploration and growth, because there is kind of like this opportunity for the spiritual truths and the energy that's meant to flow through you to have that. It's like a different perspective, do you know what I mean? Or like this the energy of your journey and what you've lived through and how you were raised and how you grew, and like all of your life experiences that is unique to you, that that creates a certain energetic like signature that has a specific impact to the people who receive
right.
that. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
absolutely.
Yeah.
So I feel
Yes.
very lucky.
So, yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, in terms of now, like continuing on the path and your growth, I feel Archangel Gabriel coming forward. And what he's showing me is, I like the pen to paper thing seems to be a theme, because first we talked about journaling, and now I feel like he's talking about your story, or like your truth, like really kind of like being able to sit down and kind of um think of your journey in the form of a story. Has that ever been something that you have felt guided to do, or like that has kind of nudged you in the back at all?
Not too much. I mean, to me, no, I can't say that I have.
So I feel like when you start doing that, kind of like, it's almost like a remembrance of your path, a remembrance of your journey, that will help you to, it's what's the word, like integrate key parts of your life, like of lessons that you've learned, things that you've gone through, opportunities that you've had, to help to integrate further the truth of who you are and the continuous growth that you're meant to step into. Kind of like you're setting the foundation by integrating these different lessons or experiences or situations, or maybe things that you've overcome, or, whatever, like the different things that we go through in life, and kind of seeing things from that higher spiritual perspective. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So like even the fact of you, in terms of like, let's say for example, your story of being one of three, right? Like a
Right.
triplet, and how that experience, like having, your siblings, and how that dynamic worked for you in your family growing up and that kind of thing. And really coming into a place of like self reflection for how it has made you be who you are today. Do you know what I mean? I feel like that's going to help build this connection to your, like your truth in who you're meant to be, and that's going to continue to influence and develop your journey and your path as you continue to step into who you are,
That makes sense.
does that make sense?
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So having said that, do you have any questions so far about what we've talked about so far, and also any next questions that you have for the angels?
Um, I guess maybe direction, or maybe something that they see that can help me progress more on my journey. I mean, obviously besides like the journaling or whatnot, but if there's anything else or that they see for me, I don't know.
Yeah, 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 absolutely.
Like
So I feel Archangel Raphael coming forward as you say that. Yeah, were you gonna add something?
I don't even know what I was going to say. I was going to say something. No, because I feel like, when you're going through this alone and you're trying to figure out your own steps, I mean, granted, they come with
Yeah.
some, they come from within. Sometimes it's like, all right, just give me a boat. What do I need to do now?
Yes,
What do you want
yes,
from me? What
yes,
do
yes, yes, yes. Yeah.
you want?
Yeah, I hear you. I totally hear you. So yeah, so Archangel Raphael is the one who comes forward as you say that. And with his energy, I do feel him coming through and like pointing out your like aura and pointing out kind of like your energy itself, like being aware of your energy, your aura, your chakras, that kind of thing. So my question to you, I know you talked about meditation. Do you have any practices or have you done any like experiences or meditations where you have connected to say like your chakras or your aura, or where do you feel in terms of your, we'll say, comfort or experience with regards to your own energy and being aware of your own energy? How does that feel for you?
I don't know if I'm answering the question correct, but I mean, meditations are good for me, and then sometimes they could be a little bit better. It just sometimes, like I said, when I get deep into
Mm,
meditation, I can see like sometimes I feel like I'm really going in, and I just feel like this empty space. I do see purple lights that
mm,
happen, and then I do at times see.
mm-hmm.
So that's why I just feel like I'm on the cusp of like just breaking through the veil, because like I even see um
Yeah.
like grids come up.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, that's not in all the meditations, but there are a lot of times,
Right.
and more times than not, I mean, besides maybe not seeing it, I feel the incredible like love that happens. So, that's
Yeah.
why
Yeah. I love
I just feel
that.
like I'm peeking, like I see the veil and it's so close.
There's like,
Just like,
yeah,
check it
I hear you.
through.
You're like, can I just like poke
Like,
through this
yeah.
right now?
Like I feel like this is gonna happen one
Yeah,
day. I mean, I don't really know how it works or what happens, but I do feel things coming through. So
yeah, yeah. And I see that. And I feel like what I hear with regards to that, Archangel Raphael is the one who's saying this. He's saying you'll be surprised at how that experience unfolds for you because it won't feel like a stark contrast between like, like day and night, like, oh, I woke up and it's like feels like the veil has lifted. It'll be like a slow
gradual, I
progression
guess.
where you
Okay.
won't almost like realize it and then you'll be like, wait a second, this is what I've been asking for,
Mhm.
almost like not even realizing that you're in it
Yeah.
now. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
That's what I feel with regards to this. And so what he's bringing forward is a practice, and I actually really see this for you to do this not as like trying to find a guided meditation out there, but actually really practicing on your own, which is going to be, and you can call on Archangel Raphael to support you, but it's going to be for you to tune in within yourself and like practice sensing your energy, practice
Yeah.
sensing your aura, practice sensing your chakras or visualizing them and connecting to your energy in that way. Practice calling, like calling in divine
Right.
light and divine love and pulling it down and like feeling how it fills you up.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm not sure if that's something that, you've done before in meditation or not, but that's what I see him guiding you through in terms of the practice, like your practice in just feeling connected to energy, and also that it's coming from you in the sense that it's not a guided meditation. There's nothing wrong with them,
Right.
but it's also you gaining the confidence in how you're capable of doing it on your own.
Makes sense.
Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I've done that
Does that make
before.
sense?
I've done that practice, but
Mm-hmm.
not enough where, like I said, I usually generally go to guided, but I get what you're saying. And like I said, I
Yeah.
have, and I mean, you do feel it and you do feel grounding, and it's incredible. But like I said, it's being present and really doing the work. So absolutely have to
Yeah.
put that one into effect.
Yes, yeah, 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 yeah. And it doesn't have to necessarily be every single day, but something that is a regular practice, because the more it becomes something that's just consistent, if you take a few days a week or whatever, then it'll become something that you are familiar with, you build your trust in it, you build your confidence in it, and then it'll continue to grow from there. And that's what I feel kind of like in the sense of like what you were talking about with, poking through the veil and being able to like bridge that
Right.
connection. It feels like it's a sense of awareness of your own energy to then open up to the awareness of other energies. Do you know what I
Yes.
mean? Now the next thing that actually comes through that I feel guided to ask you is when you think of like that process or like the veil lifting or whatever, do you see it in the sense of you then being able to feel or see or more clearly communicate with, let's say, angels, for example, or the divine? Or what is that, lifting the veil, what does that mean to you? What do you feel it means to you on a deeper level for you
To me,
personally?
I feel like it's connection with the angels. I mean, that's how I personally feel it
Mm.
as is
Mm-hmm.
being able to do that. But I don't know until
Yeah, like being
I
able
don't know
to
until I do
directly kind
it.
of,
Yeah,
yeah, like communicate with them
right,
or talk to them or hear their messages kind of thing,
right.
right?
Or just maybe more comes to me in a clairvoyant sense, or maybe visuals of some sort. In
Mm.
Because my mom kind of is a little bit
Mm-hmm.
clairvoyant. Um, she gets a lot of dreams or sees a lot of things. So I guess something along those lines. Maybe not,
Yeah.
or like hearing it, but I'm thinking, but I
Yeah.
don't know until it happens. And I feel like everyone's gifts are
Right.
different, or ways that they connect. So I don't know how it's going to plan out or unfold,
Yeah.
but
Right. Right. Do you have a sense for yourself based off of your meditations, like kind of which of your clairs are the most open, we'll say, or kind of the most, how do you perceive energy when you do meditations? Does it come through visual or does it come through feeling or other ways?
I feel like for me, I mean, I feel the love, but
Mm-hmm.
I feel like for me, when it does come across to me, it's seeing it within my mind. So it's, like I said, even just seeing the grids and things like that. I'm not hearing anything,
Yeah.
and I struggle with too sometimes, even like where people are like, oh, I have a gut intuition. Unless I just never follow through with my gut I'm not, but that's also one of the, I don't know which that there's like ones, you have the feelings or the gut, but to me, I think it's going to come across
Mm-hmm.
as more visual for myself. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And especially if that's usually how I guide people to assess kind of what's open for them is how do you often perceive things even in meditation? And so if it is coming
yeah,
through as a visual
it's
for
like
you in
inside,
meditation, then yeah.
within. So that's how I think it will
Yes,
come across
yes.
for
Then I
me.
definitely, yeah, yeah, it definitely feels like it is that in that way. And so even the practice that I shared with you of like tuning into your aura, tuning into your chakras and like just becoming familiar with that, the way that we strengthen our, there's different practices to strengthen different clairs, but with the clairvoyance, it is through continued visualization of energy. You know what I mean? And so the best place to start, the best, practice is your own energy, your own aura, your own chakras, and to practice connecting with them, tuning into them, and becoming aware. So let's say, for example, you're tuning into your heart chakra and then asking yourself, does it feel like it's open? Does it feel like it's closed? Does it feel like it's, you know, just feeling tight or not, kind of asking yourself these characteristics for your all of your chakras, but heart chakra as the example will help to kind of establish also your sense for how you feel things or how you see things, and asking those questions. And then the other thing that I feel Archangel Raphael is saying that you'll be surprised at how the, like the information will start, your perception of all the different ways it comes through will start to blend all together almost, you know what I mean? So at first it'll start as, you're focusing on your mind's eye and being able to see things, but then it's like the knowing comes in and the feeling, and it's kind of just becomes this jumbled up, not in a bad way, but like this jumbled way of how spirit communicates with you, and it's like you said earlier, you find your own way, and there's your own way of how it comes through.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. So it feels like at this point right now where you're at, they're like, continue what you're doing, keep going, keep practicing, add these little things that we talked about
Yeah.
today to really kind of enhance your practice. But there's not, it's like, it's the consistency and kind of like the long-term vision, right? Rather than the kind of like the short term, like I want it now, like you
I
said at the
know. It
beginning,
doesn't
right?
happen overnight. I mean, and it's funny because I say to myself, because you're like, you want, but I'm like, where I was in 2020 to where I am now, like the growth that has taken place, I mean, I used to just
Mm,
meditate and close my eyes, and now I'm like, I meditate, but like I'm really going in, and I'm really see, and I'm like, it's just powerful. And like I said, I
yeah.
have to give myself credit sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, I was like, I get
Yes.
frustrated, and I was like, okay, I can't be frustrated. It's not, it's step by step, and really, I have made tremendous growth. So, and it's pretty much on your own. So
Yes.
I have to
Yes,
be thankful for
absolutely.
that.
Totally, totally, absolutely. And it's part of the process, part of the journey, and continued like trusting in yourself with that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
you've totally got this. It's
I
amazing,
know.
and I'm so excited for you. It's so
Thank
good.
you. I appreciate it. I
So do you have
appreciate
any,
the.
yeah,
Go
absolutely.
ahead.
Do you have any final questions for the angels before we wrap up today?
I think you answer them. I mean, you're giving me like the little breadcrumbs to my trail that I need to go on. And like I said, just journaling the way that intended to do so with more of talking to the angels. I think that's going to be a great thing for
Mm-hmm.
me, adding into my daily routine. And also, like I said, doing just the check-ins and the stillness and being able to
Yeah.
just feel my own energy as opposed to anything else. So it's more power. There's so much power in just
Yes.
stillness and going within. So being more and more connected will hopefully open up more and more doors. So I appreciate that.
Yay, I love that. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I just want to say thank you so much again for coming on here
Thank you.
and for sharing and this discussion today. I love it. And like I said, I'm excited to, for you to continue to unfold in this journey and in your growth and all of the
Thank
things.
you.
So thank you once
No,
again.
thank you. I appreciate it. It was nice meeting you. Nice getting a chance to chat with you.
Yes.
Much appreciated.
I know. Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. All right, everyone. So, for those of you who are listening in to this episode, if there's anything that you resonated with, anything that you want to share, post it in the comments below and sending our love to Nicole for coming on here today. Thank you so much again,
Thank
Nicole. We
you.
appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
And as always, I am sending you all so much love, so many angel blessings, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye. If you are someone who is seeking to be supported by the angels, to deepen your connection to the angels, to understand how to work with them in your everyday life, then I invite you to join me inside of my membership group called the Angels Guild, where we go deep in understanding how to connect with each of the archangels, understanding how they are here to support you, and to guide you on your journey of growth, of connection, of living in your highest potential, opening up to your gifts, living in your truth, and being empowered in who you are. Join me inside of the Angels Guild. All of the details to join the membership are in the show notes below.